Well, I'll start our recording and share with you why we're here today. All right. So yeah, this meeting today it's really our final parent open house, and these have been happening every 6 weeks. Often it's just one or two parents checking in with me. It's been a really rich experience for me though, as the host of the CoDesign 10 program, and a really neat way for me to just have these check-ins and see how every learner is moving through their program a little differently, right? So here we are, last week of June. And our gesture today is, as you can see, we're aiming to have as many of us as possible. We've got Lisa and Megan here right now, and Heather is trying to work her way in as well. And yeah, we just kind of wanted to open up the table. I wanted to share with you a few things that we're expecting since it's the end of the month. And see then what questions there are about either how to wrap things up smoothly and efficiently, or what's on the table for next year, how to know where those opportunities and all the different options live, who's going to support you through those next steps. All of those types of questions we'd like to help you answer today so that you guys feel good about moving forward, both into this next week and the summer and the fall. So that's my intention, and maybe we can just get a quick little introduction from maybe Susan first. Did you want to just share why you're here? Oh, you're muted.
Right. My daughter Georgia's in grade 10 with Lisa, finishing up, hopefully. And we're at Big White, and we're finally having some spring.
Beautiful. And anything in particular that you're hoping from today's meeting, or are you just here to gather what you can?
It's great to touch base with Lisa. Nice. And yeah, just to see what's going on. Are we going to talk about next year at all a little bit?
We totally can. Yeah, the agendas. I didn't write a formal agenda because I really wanted it to be guided by whoever's here and the questions they have.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Peter, do you want to quickly introduce yourself as well? Oh, and you're muted too. There we go.
Sorry, Peter from Gabriola, and Corey's in the program with, I think, with Georgia as well, and we're on Gabriola Island off of Nanaimo, and we love Lisa as well. And yeah, we're pretty much almost done everything and just wanting to figure out the next step for grade 11. There's so many options and stuff. So I did sit in that open house whenever that was some time ago, but
nice. Excellent.
Wanting to move that agenda forward soon.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. And then, yeah, maybe we'll take this opportunity just to get, since we do have Lisa, Heather, and Megan all here, I don't know if you guys want to share a couple sentences about what it's like to be wrapping things up right now. I mean, yeah, where you're at as a mentor and working with your learners in your course. So maybe Lisa, do you want to start that off?
Yeah, that was kind of a chuckle a little bit as I'm trying to catch up on a massive amount of grading. I'm sure both Megan and Heather can relate to that. So just trying to catch it up so that mistakes made, and it's like I've already sent out a few emails today going, okay, just wait, you missed this on this assignment, you need to fix it. So just, in fact, I just sent a note out to the science folks to say, hey, if you think you've made a mistake on something, if you think you're not really sure, send me an email with that assignment. Still submit it, but send me an email that says, hey, can you take a look at this? So that it doesn't sit way up somewhere in my grade, or down, or however you want to say that, in my grading pile.
Nice.
And not get gotten to until like Friday. Anyway, so yeah, my catching up. So I'm personally just catching up and sending out the odd email just to say, hey, don't forget this. Somebody will send something in, like a couple people that did the climate summit are sending in tests for that same part. And I'm like, no, you're not doing the test. Remember, we talked about this.
Doing too much work. Wow, that might be a first.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just trying to wrap that kind of stuff up. And exit interviews with the GMs, which, by the way, Peter Corey missed today. So it's rescheduled for Thursday. And George,
I can only do so much.
I know. And actually, Susan, I've had to reschedule George's, but I haven't heard back from her on that. I need to try and catch her either Thursday or early next week. So,
okay.
Just because Friday, I didn't realize I'm in Nanaimo on Friday, and we're leaving earlier than I thought we were. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so that's mine.
Cool. Megan, a little update?
Sure thing. I am the English mentor. I think you probably already know, and I have my own pod as well. It's been a great pleasure to watch the change as we go through the year. Everybody coming in, not knowing what to expect, not sure, and not really being that comfortable to speak out per se, or saying how they feel about things, and just seeing that change. And also, there's been a whole bunch of side curveballs this year for a lot of different people, and just watching that happen and saying, okay, and for me too, actually. I was sick with the flu 3 times in the last month and I moved. So, I have a lot of empathy right now for what's going on. and so I'm also going to be here in July, the first 2 weeks of July. I'm here to answer questions, and I'll be, on deck. We shut down July 7th. Everything just shuts down. But before then, of course, it's the same old systems, and anybody can contact me. Everybody should have my number too. So, being a co-design mentor is such a treat. I like it because I get to actually interact and meet the learners and know who they are. And so, if you ask me about Georgia or Corey, I know who they are. I know what their faces look like, and I know a little bit about their personalities and who they might want to connect with, and who and what kind of creativity they have, and what they like. And so I really enjoy that, and thank you for having your youth in our program.
Thank you. English has been good, I think, for Corey. So thanks a lot.
For sure.
Nice. Thanks, Megan. That's so beautiful. Heather, so glad that you're here. Do you want to do a little update as well?
Well, I'm finally back in BC, so I'm on BC time again in Nelson. So I'm glad to be back, and it feels really heavy right now for sure. But I'm really enjoying the final project process for a lot of these learners. Like Corey and Georgia, like this week I've seen them like submit things and their drafts, and they're so amazing. And I think that we took some extra time to go through the project proposal phase and like really make sure that people knew what they were doing and knew what was being asked of them. So I'm seeing some really amazing work in the socials realm. So that's really exciting. I am kind of like having little bits of leeway forming for next week, as you said, Megan, and like Lisa, like I'm like, okay, maybe we have to reschedule for Monday, and that's okay, but I am around, and like you said, I'm going to be able to access everything in the same way until July 7th. So there is that kind of like breathing space that we have. It feels like a little bit, but also, people have planned holidays and stuff, so there is this like looming deadline of trying to get it all done. But I've enjoyed the process of just watching everyone emerge, and the presence that these learners have brought to our meetings, and like how they've just shown up. Like the same thing, I know who Corey and Georgia are, because of their consistent presence in this program. And so that's been a really nice journey to be on. Yeah, and I've loved working with these other mentors as well that are here, and having Sarah hold us all together, and yeah, it's been great.
Thanks, Heather. Yeah, it's definitely rich on our end behind the scenes, because we all, we definitely communicate a lot about how we can be supporting your youth. And I think that that's another rich aspect of this program, that other youth who are simply taking self-paced courses, they don't receive that big support network that we try to provide within a program like CoDesign. And I see the value in that. I see us assisting each other and saying, oh, have you tried this way to reach this learner? Or have you tried this way to help them get more creative or more excited about a project? And we can do that without having to ask the learner the same question over and over, which I think probably happens a lot throughout their education, right? What's your passion? What do you like to do? How can we help you be more productive? Like, those questions get bounced around so much that I think they become redundant at a certain point. But when approached tactfully from a group of supporting educators, we can really start to see some changes there by kind of moving in a more unique direction than just the traditional I'm going to ask the learner 200 times until they respond to me. So thank you to this amazing teaching team that I get to witness do such a beautiful job mentoring throughout the year. It's just really an honor. And last year I was on that teaching team for our CoDesign 10 learners last year, so it's neat to have a little bit of a different role now. So I did publish a CoDesign 10 blog on, when was that? On early Monday morning, codesign10.blogspot.com, or .ca rather. And in that, I shared a few links. So this is, I know Peter was asking, sort of interested in some wrap up and then some next steps information. The wrap up stuff that we're doing right now, program wide, as you know, all of our actual classes are done, and this week is really just working towards that completion of projects, exit interviews, all of these things that we do the last week of the school year. The really big piece this time of the year as well is that we've decided at Self-Design High in the high school, for every learner that wants to be a school of record learner with self-design, they need to have a guiding mentor, and that's mandatory now. It used to be an option. So that means that if your youth are hoping to continue with self-design, which we of course just really hope they want to, it means they need a guiding mentor, whether it's the guiding mentor they worked with this year, or maybe they want to try someone else out, and that's also fine. There is a request form that I think about half of our CoDesign 10 learners have already filled out. I linked that into the blog. So that would be a really wonderful thing as a parent who's either watching this recording or here today, to make sure that your youth has submitted that request form so we can really get things going. Thanks for defining school of record. And maybe I should actually say that out loud because they won't see that in the recording. So school of record means that the majority of the courses that a learner is taking for the year are with Self-Design High. So that's the first step. So then once they have their guiding mentor, the guiding mentor can actually help the youth register for the courses. I put in links about how to do the registration and then what all of the options are. So far you're seeing 3 links in that blog, all really important, and there's like a little sequential step to them. So first, they choose a guiding mentor. Second, they either connect with their guiding mentor if it's the same as this year, or Allison Talbot Kelly matches them with someone who works really well based off of their interests and passions. Second, they start to look at registration by educating themselves on the options for next year. Something quite similar to Peter, what you might have heard about in that CoDesign 11-12 workshop that you went to, learning about the different options for CoDesign 11 and 12 offerings for next year. But there's more than just that. We have big ideas workshops, and then we also have a whole collection of self-paced courses that learners can take. And many learners choose a scattering of all of those. I know I'm working with some grade 12 learners right now, moving into grade 12, who are saying, okay, I think one CoDesign 12 workshop, and then I'll take a self-paced course or 2 on the side in my first session, and in the second session I'll take a CoDesign 10 or a CoDesign 12 workshop, a big ideas workshop, and my last self-paced course. So they're really designing their high school, and that's really our goal, is that learners can have that flexibility, and the guiding mentor is the one that can support them in creating that perfect recipe that'll work for them. So any questions on those 3 things from Susan or Peter?
No, not really. Can you just give me that blog? I somehow missed your email. What's the blog address? No
worries. I'll just type it in here. So it's sure. codesign10.blogspot.ca. So that's now in the chat box for you guys to see. And then for those of you listening to the recording, codesign10.blogspot.ca.
And Sarah, can we just confirm that's like a pre-registration form, right? They're not registering yet for all of the courses for grade 11, but it's like pre-registration just to get you linked up with a guiding mentor, right?
Well, no, the actual registration form is published now.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Yeah, the one that you're thinking of was the expression of interest for CoDesign 11-12. That was pre-registration, and that was a month ago when we were saying, or a month and a half, saying, who's interested in this? Is this something we should do? We threw it out there for the learners, and they all went, oh my God, that sounds so cool. I want to learn about teens in space. I want to learn about the human mind. I want to learn about ecology. They loved the idea of the workshops. So then we actually designed them. We're in the process of structuring them on the back end right now. And we're having people starting to register. Some registration will happen right now though, Heather. A lot of it, you know, as a guiding mentor myself, I find that I know this time of the year is wild. There's so much going on. We're finishing our courses and then we're getting ready for big trips with our families. And, you know, a lot of families can't wrap their head around September until August, and that's okay. So the big thing is let's get them with a guiding mentor, especially our CoDesign 10 learners. We want to hook them in. We want to keep them, you know, we want to keep them with us as much as we can because we love working with them. And if we can get them with a guiding mentor, then the guiding mentor can say, have an awesome summer. I'll give you a shout out in August. And then at some point in August, the guiding mentor and the learner, maybe even the family, if the family's keen to be a part of that, can start to have those conversations about, okay, what do you want your courses to look like in session 1? Here's a few options. Let's jam on that. Yay.
When, sorry, and because I know we did fill out the form and stuff, and I don't believe we formally heard on the mentor yet. Is that right? Or should we have heard?
You're probably in the process. I think Allison, she's been kind of bouncing emails all around us saying, you know, these learners have requested you. Do you have the space for them? So I think we're in the process of that, Peter. And I'll check in about that with Allison and see where she's at. But I think that should be coming out pretty soon here.
Yeah, okay, because I thought they said last week of June, so.
Yeah, and here we are.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it's like basically you'll be matched with the current GM unless something else happens. And then like in August, they can like revisit that. So if it's like, you know, someone's been matched with Lisa now, and Lisa can be like, have a great summer, but then maybe that person will want to go with someone else. Then Lisa can just be like, great, here's that person, you know?
And that was actually a decision we just made not even a week ago, came from the guiding mentors. I think Megan was really a big part of that as well, saying our learners they can't take time to decide right now who they want to work with. Again, it's just one thing too many. Why don't we just sign them up? And then we can, you know, swap them off in August if they want to be working with someone else, and that's totally fine. Yeah, exactly, Heather. Thanks for bringing that up. We had a learner celebration last week that was really fun. We played a few games. We did some scavenger hunts, and then we just kind of said thank you for such a wonderful year. There was about 15, 16 learners there, so about half of our CoDesign 10 group, and I shared the recording in their Google community, so they can have access to the recording and see what we did as a group, and they also have access to the agenda for that meeting. And then there's also another gesture that we're doing on Friday. We're sending out a written letter to every learner that's been part of our CoDesign 10 program this year. And it's a letter composed by the 4 of us, just expressing our gratitude and just sharing that how proud we are that, you know, they made it through and through all the ups and downs and the level of growth that has occurred that they might not even be conscious of at this moment, but hopefully they'll be able to look back on some of their experiences this year and really, really just smile about stepping out on that limb and taking part in something that was really new. You know, this is only our 2nd year running this program, and we constantly say to each other, like, okay, we've learned this, like, we're good. Next time we run it, like, we'll do this, or, you know, next time we're a part of a group like this, we'll approach it this way instead of this way. And, you know, we're all learning on the back end, and the learners are helping us evolve as a high school right now. So we try to let them know that as much as possible, so they know that it's not just these courses that they're working on. You know, they're part of something a bit bigger. Yeah. But that's you know, that's pretty much the main meat of what I wanted to cover today. Looking at that wrap up right now, honoring that, this is another big point, honoring, you know, you can kind of hear every educator here say, like, my inbox is loaded. Some learners are submitting 10 things all at once. So a big policy that we always have at Self-Design is for an educator to mark 2 pieces a week. That's kind of it's an unwritten rule, that they can't sit down and mark all 10 of those, because then it means other learners that submitted their one thing on time won't get it marked on time. So if you do have a learner in that situation, or a youth right now in that situation, just sit tight and know that, like Lisa mentioned, if there's something really big, hopefully the educator can get to it, or they can say, can you really check out assignment 7, because I think I might have done something wrong, and maybe if you tell me sooner rather than later, I can fix it. If they send that message with their assignment, that's really beneficial. And then other than that, just know that, the educator will mark a few of them as soon as they can, and then they might table a few of the others so they can kind of be inclusive and let everyone receive that same attention in their workday, which probably doesn't have enough hours in it right now.
That is so true. Thank you for mentioning that, because I've been peeing back and forth between topics 2, 3, and 4, and there are things from Corey especially that I know are right there on the top of the list, and then something else happens, and then so I love the messages I get saying, "Hey, can you take a look at this?" I'm like, oh, "Thank you." Okay.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate
it. Okay. Yeah, because we sent a note this afternoon just wanting to double check based on the grade. I never knew this wonderful feature that you could look at grades and what had been submitted and not. I was like, wow, who knew?
Nice.
That was helpful.
I sent it out at the beginning too, but at the beginning, everybody's getting so used to Moodle that it's just kind of like, right, I need to find my topic 1. So, yeah.
It seemed odd to me that there wasn't an ability to do that, and now I know why, because there actually was an ability to do that.
Oh, we're still learning things about Moodle, so don't feel bad.
It's funny, I think I sent that same note to Corey just recently, too, Megan, with a circle around like a screen capture around that thing as well, a reminder.
Now you're making me crazy. Okay.
We're just all on the same page, that's all.
We are.
Okay, well, any closing thoughts? Do you have ideas? I don't know, Peter or Susan, if you've heard of what plans Corey or Georgette kind of are thinking of for next year. Are they interested in, it sounds like interested in CoDesign for Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some of those, I'm just trying to figure out the integration of the workshops the 3 different versions of the program, the big ideas versus the integrated 3 courses versus the self-paced ones, and how we're going to fit those together to meet the path to completion whilst also pursuing the things that are of interest, which is why my question was about the mentor and trying to figure that out together. But it looks cool. There's some great programs in there for sure. I really like to look at them.
Good. I'm so glad. And I think it's nice that, those CoDesign programs only combine 3 courses, so it does allow for a learner to take a 4th on their own, whether it's a self-paced or a big ideas workshop. We found about 4 courses in a session is like a really nice workload. Some learners do take a little more, some learners a bit less, and that's just up to them and what their path to completion looks like.
Right.
Yeah, but it is kind of a game of it's like a puzzle, right? You kind of, I remember my first year of university actually sitting down with my mom and doing that, and really just saying, okay, like here's the mandatory courses, but the required ones. Here's the ones I'm interested in. Oh, that's not going to work on that day. Oh, that's not going to work on that day. Having to kind of mix it around. And I think, our high school learners are kind of feeling that same way right now. What's going to work together to create a semester or a session that's going to be manageable for me.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, the guiding mentor will definitely be the person that can support you through that. If you do have more questions though, in the meantime, like always feel free to reach out to me as well. Sure. I'm so happy connecting, especially when these guys are really busy this week with marking. That's like one gesture that I can do is connect. If you have like urgent questions about next year and you're really wanting some support with that, email me, let's meet. I'd be so happy to. And then we can pass off that information to the guiding mentor at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll be in touch in August, and we should have everything decided by September. Is that the deadline? What's the deadline to have everything decided?
Well, so our first learning week, and all of this will be coming out in our self-design bulletins that gets emailed to all parents and learners. Our first learning week this year, it's kind of weird because it's actually the last week of August. So that's when school starts, that last week of August. So that means that, yeah, like mid-August, we do want families to start thinking about what courses their youth will be wanting to register within and getting them registered. The second part of that, that comes actually before, I should have said this first, is that every year in self-design, you do have to re-enroll with the high school. And that's something the family does. Have you done that yet, Susan? Yeah, excellent. So that's a big step. And Peter, have you done that? Probably.
I think so. I just don't believe I really received any.
Lisa's nodding her head, so that's positive.
I think so. I haven't heard that they have.
I filled out a form. I don't know that I ever got a formal you're in or whatever, but
okay.
Maybe you could check that, Sarah.
Yeah, I'd love to actually, and I'll see if I can check it for our. I'll see if I can check it for all of our CoDesign 10 learners, and then reach out to parents as needed. The link to enrollment, that is a great question. I don't have it up right now, but it would be linked to our website that's open to the public, self-design, www.selfdesign.org. We have just revamped the website as well. It might look a little different than the last time you were there. The goal is more clarity at first. It may be more confusion, but I hope that you can find what you're looking for. But that would be my guidance, is selfdesign.org to find our annual enrollment link. Cool.
Well, and thanks to all the teachers or the guiding mentors, because this week must be horrendous. So thank you for all your work and patience, for sure.
You are so welcome. There's a lot of excitement in the air, that's for sure.
Thank you, Susan, for sharing Georgia. She's a wonderful person. I really enjoyed meeting her actually in person at winter camp. That was awesome.
She's we didn't get her into Endeavor, so she's a bit disappointed, but hopefully next year we'll get her into it.
Yeah, those camps are definitely a unique part of the program. Yeah. Neat to meet in the flesh. And they happen every year, so we try to do four camps a year, one per season. Surpass is the summer camp, and they do get a leadership credit for that camp. Is that the one that you're speaking to? Yeah.
Yes, that's the one she didn't get into. That's the one she's missing. She went to all the other ones. So.
Well, she'll get on the train for next year, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Wonderful. Well, listen, I'm happy staying afterwards. I'll turn off our recording, so anyone that's watching, thank you so much for watching, and reach out to me either via email or a phone number. Most of you have all my contact information by now. And those of you guys that are here, thank you so much for popping in today. It's always nice for us to actually have conversations with families, because I think we send lots of emails and lots of phone messages this time of year.